Okay.
Yes.
Let's look at other things that you would do differently as a woman rep in Nairobi. What are some of the things that, let's say, that are failing right now?
Number one, I think there are issues where people are having solutions for needs that they don't need. I would go to the grassroots and find out exactly what the women need, instead of having this idea in my head that Nairobi woman probably needs water, and on the other hand, they may probably be needing clothes. So I would be on the grassroots to actually identify and sensitize these people to get to know their needs and prioritize their needs, so that if you have two things that you need, you choose which one is more important to you, and that way we will have a Nairobi that is growing.
Okay. In your capacity as MCA so far, because we've talked about a lot about what could be done, what you would do if you are in that capacity. Let's now talk about what you have done.
What I have
You
done.
have been a nominated MCA for now how long?
For 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yes.
What have you achieved so far?
What is actually asked for me, it comes with the position, that is oversight. I have done pretty much very well in oversight. I am in budget committee. I go through this budget, I go through the finance bill, I go through all these things, because in Nairobi County we have passed at least 9 or 10 bills, and during this time I have been very actively involved, because right now I feel, because I don't have an area where I represent, the best that I can do is legislation and oversight.
True. And those are what I would call job descriptions.
Yes.
But what I'd like to know is, within your job description, what can you quantify and say, this is an achievement I have made, this is a step that we have taken, and because I am there, I have done ABCD.
Okay, I am there. I also sit in culture committee, and we recently passed a bill, and it was my initiative. We recently passed a bill on liquor, alcohol control and liquor licensing, whereby we make sure, for example, we do not give licenses, and it's a bill now. It's cast, it's a bill right now. We make sure that we do not give licenses, for example, to bars that are next to schools. I am a woman, I have a daughter, and I know that these things, whatever children see day in, day out, is probably what they would live to do. So through this, I have made sure that such things, I visit many places in Nairobi where you find bars, and if they're not properly located or situated in areas that the influence will be not very positive to the children growing, we make sure that those licenses are revoked. So I can say that is one achievement, because I strongly believe whatever our children see, it is what they live to do. Yes. Okay,
let's talk about our education system, because although I know you're not directly involved in it, but it has a lot of influence in the kind of people that we churn out, particularly the youth. And one of the complaints you'll hear from the business side is that we have a very, I don't call them irresponsible, but we have a great number of youth who just are not as responsible as would be expected. What do you think of our education system currently and the kind of people it churns out?
As a woman, I think, number one, we as leader, me as a leader, I should exemplify very good morals, that even the young people, when they're growing up, they will see that this is the kind of a leader that we need to do. We also don't want to advocate for things, bad things that are happening on social media. I believe they're not good for the young people, and especially being exposed, like what we saw about the lady who had photos, naked photos on social media. Those are things that we should actually avoid doing, and try and tell Kenyans not to encourage such behaviors. Because if, for instance, that lady would somehow sit down and think exactly how much she's been exposed, then it's not very good for them. So I, as a woman, should say that we should live as an example to the rest of the community, especially being a leader. Make sure that whatever we do is something that even if it went out there, growing child will actually not be embarrassed about it.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you think, now that you're nominated by Jubilee, how do you think the government has performed so far in those years that they've been in?
Extraordinarily good. Yes. And especially knowing that the president has advocated for the 2/3 gender.
Which has not happened.
Yes.
So
it hasn't.
How is it very good?
You know,
it's been advocated for
we've taken a step. You see, it has not happened only in national governments, where they were given by the Attorney General a deadline until, like, by the time elections 2017, they should have come up with an idea how they're going to top it up. But now, in devolved government, we already have, out of 127 members of county assembly, 47 are nominated. So in the county levels, it is happening. And recently we were at 9% gender, now we're at what, 30%? Going 30%, I think. So we are actually headed there. We only take a step at a time, and we are going towards achieving that.
There has been an argument that by nomination, it's almost like a free gift given to women. Yes. Should that be the way, or should they earn that position?
That is my other point that I needed to make very clear, that now that I have been nominated, 2017, I should not ask for a nominated seat. I should actually go out there. I am empowered enough. I have been exposed. I have seen how things run. I have seen how the elected men did it through interacting with them.
Are there an example, the elected men? Or is it just a way that it should work?
No, there's a different way they do it. For them to have gotten there, they must have been, and especially most of it is because as women we've been financially somehow, and we feel like through the culture we've been suppressed. And that is something that has happened, and that is what we are trying to get out of by nominating women and empowering them and giving them that platform to see and to experience what the elected feel, so that next time you don't have to ask for a nominated seat. And I would feel very bad if 2017 I was nominated, because I am thinking right now I have gotten the exposure.
You had the opportunity to show what you can do.
Yes, so what I have gotten is what I should actually use, and let somebody else who's a woman to get as empowered as I have. Yes. Okay,
so do you see the 2/3 gender rule getting into place, and what difference will it make?
Well, it is not as easy as it looks, but then we are getting somewhere, because out of the other countries around us, South Africa, Rwanda, Tanzania, they are way ahead. Their percentages on women and gender representation is way high. But in Kenya, I think we are going somewhere.
We're getting there.
I think
all right, you've mentioned that Jubilee government has done well as far as you're concerned, exceptionally well. What are some of the things they have not done well?
Let me first talk of the things they have done well, because I feel that must be mentioned and must be said.
Okay.
The education system. We have free education. We have free education. We have, like, from primary school all the way to high school.
But was that thought through, if you look at it right now?
Yes.
Because if you look at the teacher-child ratio, right now it's way above what is recommended.
Of course,
you have about 40 students in a class with one teacher. The recommended, I think, somewhere between 20 and 25 or something like that. So that is almost double. As much as we're saying there's free education, is it free quality education?
But let's first appreciate that there is a child who's going to school. They're different from when they did not go to school. So let's first appreciate that. Of course, we'll have issues before we streamline the whole thing, because it just doesn't happen overnight. We will have issues, but I know that the government is working towards making that these issues are addressed and to have quality education. But we needed to take a step and show that it can be done. Yes, we already have all these children going to school. Right now, if you go to communities, you'll not find, okay, they've closed school now, but previously when schools were opened, you'll not find anyone at home, which is a very good thing.
Okay, still on education, we promised children laptops.
Yes.
Still don't have them. Still think we're doing well? The government is doing well?
On that one, I don't know how that will work or where the money will come from. But hopefully, with how Kenya is growing, one day we might get the laptops.
One day. All right, you are telling me about the good things. So now there's still the question, what are some of the things that the government has failed? Surely they can't have done well all through.
I think we should. I think we should become a community of not whining all the time and appreciating and embracing the good things that are happening. Let us be very positive in the sense that when we see there is something happening, let's not just sit back and criticize. Let's give the leaders the opportunity to work, the opportunity to the policies that they put, the ideas that they have. Let them give them a chance to implement them. Because if we keep on bickering and talking about issues that have not been done, then we'll forget about what is being done.
Okay, there is what is called constructive criticism,
yes,
and there is space for that.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. What are some of the things that the government should have done that possibly have not done well? Which, as a woman rep for Nairobi,
yes.
Now you'll be in a better position to ensure that these things are done.
These things are done. Okay. I guess there should be accessibility to funds, and this comes to about the small micro enterprises, like small businesses. In terms that Kenya still, the borrowing rate from the banks is very high. I am looking at it because I am a business person and have been in business, and I'm still in politics. I still feel that the banks, the rates where they are lending money is still very high, bringing us not into a very competitive platform with the rest of the world. So if the government can look into that and make sure that the monies that Kenyans are accessing are not very, very expensive. Because you can have expensive money, you're getting money at a very, very expensive
which of course would be counterproductive for business.
Yes, and then globally we are not competitive. If you have like a road that is being done from the airport all the way to CBD, and you have a Chinese who comes with having borrowed money at 1%, and you as a contractor in Kenya, you borrowed at 18%, surely you cannot be competitive. In that business. So I think the government, what they should do, they should also look at the micro enterprises, and especially the SMEs, people who are just starting up. They also need to access funds easily. That way we are going to eradicate poverty, and the economic is going to go forward.
How would you see the government doing that to bring those rates down? Because the reason why sometimes those rates are up is not just because the banks want to put it at that rate. Of course, there's something that could be done, but there are reasons behind why it is that high.
Well, there are reasons behind why the rates are very high, but you can also look in the sense that the central bank, or they should come into a meeting with the banks and with the government and sit down and actually see a solution to it.
Okay.
Yes, a solution to it.
Let's come back to the youth, because I know your passion is on women and youth. And let's now talk to the youth. What are some of the things that the youth could be doing with the money that is accessible to them that possibly is not happening?
I can say one thing. Just the two issues that we spoke about, the Uwezo Fund and the 30% procurement that has been set aside. These two can be integrated in the sense you will be given an advantage. If you accessed this money, then you have the capital to go and ask for a job, be it to supply credit cards or flowers or water, but you have the capacity to actually do the work. So these two items and these two policies that are out there can empower the youth to be in a better position, more added advantage position to work and to have capital to have their ideas, their very innovative ideas implemented, or to start a business that you never thought you would start, or to probably sustain it. So with this money, you are able to be in a better financial position.
Assuming that the funds are exhausted, or let me rephrase that and say, are those the only avenues the youth can use to empower themselves? Surely we have a very productive and a very creative youth.
The issue of the youth and women, the initial issue is, and one major issue is lack of finances, and that is why I am dwelling so much on the finances that have been put out there for the youth. So we have brilliant women and youth with good ideas, fabulous ideas, but you can never put that without a capital. Now this is a government, number one, giving you an opportunity to access money at zero interest.
No interest rate.
At no interest rate. So this is a better platform than before, when they did not have anywhere they could access money. And plus, it comes with, you're not asked statements for 11 months. You're not asked for history, I don't know about what. As in, like, the bureaucracies, yes, are not as bad as if you were to go to the bank, or collateral or security, if you were to go to a bank and borrow money. So this is money that the idea was very good. The idea is very good. What we need to do is implement it.
Okay. Yes. Now, we recently had the GES, the Global Entrepreneurship Summit.
Yes.
And what came out of that GES is that we found there are quite a number of youth with fantastic ideas, great ideas, which only need support and backing. Do you see the government, or would you see yourself in a position where you can literally push for them to be backed, despite the fact that they may not be able to access these funds, but an idea?
Yes.
You know, some of the ideas that came out were brilliant. Some were even mentioned by Barack Obama himself.
Yes.
Would you see yourself in a position to push some of these ideas away from the Wezo Fund?
Yes. That can be done, and it can only be done by having me very aggressive and getting to know these ideas from this youth. That means I need to also interact more with Kenyans and with the youth, and this can only be through me, maybe having meetings with them, maybe going places and getting to know, having like the same global summit. We can have it locally in Kenya. Let's bring all the youth with ideas and put them somewhere, and let's hear what they have to offer. That way it will be out there, and if there was an investor who did not know what to do, they can invest in that idea. So this Global Entrepreneur Summit can be copied here. And if that is done, we'll put all these youth together, and we will notice what they can do and what they have.
Okay. As we wind up, where do you see yourself in another 5 years? If you're not the women rep for Nairobi, will you stay into politics, or would this be the end?
I believe there are different avenues of leadership. It necessarily doesn't have to come by you going out there and getting the seat. You can do it in a different way. 2017, I would want to ask for Women Rep Nairobi seat, and I believe, because where there is a will,
there's a way.
There's a way.
So you'll be going for it on come 2017?
Yes, come 2017, strongly, because I feel there's a very huge gap that needs to be filled.
What makes you think you would do a better job than the current Women Rep? Because what I stand for is totally different from what I feel, her being a public figure. So I am in a position to talk about her because she's our leader. It's totally different. I would engage women and make sure that they are empowered, they know their rights. Just the other day we were seeing ladies being stripped in town and everywhere, and she did not come out and utter one word. That is wrong. That should not ever happen, because she's there representing the woman. She's there representing the woman in Nairobi. So such things are the ones that I should actually make sure the Nairobi woman knows her rights and know that you have the freedom to dress how you feel like, as long as you also not giving a bad example to the community, because we also have to think about the children and the people who are growing up. What would you have done differently should you have been in that position now, given that My Dress, My Choice campaign that was going on? You've said she didn't say or do it.
Yes. Number one thing, I would have not even come on TV and demonstrated my dress, my choice. What I would have done is make sure that this person who was violated, number one, got justice. The people who did it were held accountable. That will discipline everybody else more than me coming and saying my dress, my choice.
So you feel they were not held accountable? I remember some that were taken to court.
The whole thing died. What happened to it?
There were some who were taken to court. they were arrested in a matatu and taken
yes,
to
but
court.
I think they came out on cash bail or something. I mean, I'm thinking, if you had somebody who is pushing you through and telling you it can be done and standing for these rights, I'm sure even the judicial would actually take it more seriously, seeing that the leader is coming out there and saying what is being done is wrong. And that would be an example to every other man who probably was stripping people out there, if we know it or we don't know it. To
serve as an example.
Yes, to serve as an example.
Okay. And finally, do you see, what was I going to ask? Yeah, what do you see yourself in terms of, if not as a woman rep, would you still go for another political seat?
Right now, I am the goal. I don't want to be shifty. I want to put yes, I want to be focused. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And also, something somebody's asking here, are you married? Since this is person of interest, I would like to know.
I have a daughter, and there's a father of the daughter.
Okay.
But it's not official.
Not official meaning?
I've no ring on my finger. Okay. Yes, we are together.
You're together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 3.
She's 3 years old. What's her name?
She's called Wangui.
Wangui. Maybe you can just look at that camera and say hi to her.
Hi, Mommy. I hope you're watching.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And we wish you all the best. Thank you very much for enlightening us. There's still a number of questions that are coming. And what is the payment schedule for, and how long should one have to pay back the money is accessible?
The duration is 2 years. Depending on whatever framework you've been given, but it cannot be more than 2 years.
Okay.
Yes, but you have a 6 months grace period. So before your business or whatever idea you have takes off, you have like a grace period of 6 months. So during this time, you don't have to pay anything. You have to make sure that whatever you're doing is stable. You have things like money coming back. So before you start repaying. Yes.
Okay. Do you have any youth groups that you're mentoring at the moment?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have oh my God.
Forgot the area.
Ngando.
Ngando.
That's the word I was looking for. Ngando in Dagureti. Yes.
Okay.
That's the one that I am doing for now. But previously I had others. But for now, what is going on is the group in Ngando.
Any projects that you're working on as a group?
As a group, right now, we are just, because there are a lot of youth there, what we are doing is just empowering them and helping them. Like now, this NYS thing, I was just taking them through to see how they can register and see if they can get an opportunity to join. So it's flexible. I mean, it's unique with its times. So whatever is happening is what we will do. Whatever opportunities come is what we take in and try and absorb and see whether a few people can benefit from it. Right. So normally it's not a structured way, this is what we are doing. It's just a way of giving them opportunities out there, especially government opportunities, so that you can guide them on how to get these job opportunities.
All right.
Yes.
Bernadette, thank you so very much for joining us this morning on Person of Interest.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure hosting you.
Yes.
And as you eye the 2017 Women Rep for Nairobi, we wish you all the best, but I can guarantee you will be watching and seeing what some of these things and policies that you say should be in place as to whether you'll be working towards that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that's, thank you. Person of interest, and that is Bernadette Wangui Nganga, who is a nominated MCA, but she has announced it right here that come 2017, she's got her eye on the prize, and the prize at this particular point would be the woman rep for Nairobi. She feels that things are not being done right. There are certain things that she would want to put in place should she have that position. Well, time will tell whether she will be there. This is Morning Express. That's where we wind up our person of interest this morning. But before we take a break, we'll also bring you a traffic update. And the roundabout is Kenyatta Avenue roundabout. And let's see whether we can get that short and see how the traffic is flowing. It seems to be chock-a-block when you're driving towards town. However, the roundabout looks like it's fairly open and moving smoothly. So if you're coming into town, that's a roundabout, at least that it's moving, but coming into town, it looks fairly heavy, but I'm sure police are in control. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back with our lifestyle section. And today's Tuesday, we'll be looking at health.